With Virgin Media, you can build up the entertainment and tear down the price. Switch to Virgin Media today and get superfast broadband and TV for just €49 a month for an awesome 12 months. The sale that stacks up. Now on. See virginmedia.ie and check out how our mobile sales stacks up too.
T's and C's apply. See virginmedia.ie. 12-month contract. Offer ends 27th of February 2019.
Hi, guys. Well, from steaming hot Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist,
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're talking about the prosperity gospel.
Money, 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 money.
And the Lord.
We're talking about why America, for those of you out there in the non-American parts of this country, of this world,
Right.
we're gonna sort of maybe explore some of the ideas that you might not understand about America,
Right.
Or maybe you understand it better than we do because
you didn't have to.
because you're not
You
in
didn't
the
grow
middle
up
of
as
it.
like in the water.
Yeah, who knows? But we're going to talk about why America is as fucked up as it is, and I think a lot of it has to do with
Just one of the reasons why it's as fucked up as it is,
sure,
Dan.
sure.
Because there are many, many, many reasons.
But I'm starting
We're
to.
fucked up in a lot of different
We really are. We really are. I'm starting to think that this is like my thinking on this particular item though is that it's more important than I had been giving it credit for. It's more.
No, that's fair.
It's a bigger deal and it's more fucked up.
Yeah.
Than I was giving it credit for.
All right. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Dan. Dateline, my face.
Yeah.
It sometimes, Dan, one likes to groom their face.
Sometimes.
Sometimes one likes to remove a little bit of facial hair.
We are
You don't
here.
have to remove all of it.
You and I are
to
here
need
suit
the
fellows.
product we're about to talk about.
We're furry men.
Yes.
And we need and it just wouldn't do to let it grow.
No, one must tend to
The garden.
To the garden.
Tend to the garden, gentlemen.
One must groom. One must.
You're not going to look good if you just let it grow
Prune.
willy-nilly. You got to keep it within the lines.
Yeah. So let's tell them about the product they
Here's
can
what you
get
do.
to help out.
You do your Harrys.com. HARRYS.com.
/TGIA.
Just TGIA.
There you go.
Boy, we're going to get this at some point. These guys are, their founders, basically they were fed up with paying a boatload for a little razor cartridge.
Think about it.
It
is
so
ridiculous.
much money.
It's so much that I don't know about your supermarket, Dan, but mine puts the little security tabs.
Right. It's like gold.
Razors.
It's like, yeah, literally, like they're not locking up anything else.
Right.
They're locking up that and because
you know they're overpriced.
Right.
And so
you're going to steal them. That's what. Here's the thing. Don't overpay for your razors.
And don't steal.
And don't steal. Get a free trial offer from Harrys.com.
Yeah.
You mention our name by going to harrys.com/TGIA. Then we hook you up with a free trial offer. You
That's
just pay.
awesome.
You pay to have it shipped. They're not going to ship it for free, but you get the weighted ergonomic handle. You get a 5-blade razor with lubricating strip and trimmer blade on the back. Do you use that? I've used that trimmer blade.
I don't have a place to use it.
You don't have sideburns.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have a
use-
beard.
Right. But you can get your edges real nice with that.
Nice. Okay.
And then you get the shave gel, which you and I have talked about is our favorite shave gel.
Yeah.
It smells great.
It's awesome.
It works great. And then you get the travel blade cover. You get all of this for free sent to you. give it a try. If you like it, they keep sending it, and you don't. There's no fuss, no muss. You just get it when you need it.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you cancel, and you keep it all, and it's just free.
Yeah. And all you had to pay was shipping and handling.
Yeah.
Right?
Super easy. Just do it, and you help us out, and they're our sponsors, and worth trying.
Just try it out.
Just try it. Do you have a face? Try it out. That should be their motto.
Yeah.
Do you have a face? Try Harry's.
Yeah.
Boom.
Done. Taken care of.
We just made them a fortune.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go, Dan. All right. Dan.
Yeah.
We here on the Thank God I'm Atheist podcast are on record as to our feelings about Mother Teresa.
She's
we don't like the lady.
Not a nice lady.
And the fact that she was sainted is ridiculous. And just the Pope bowing to international pressure.
Well, and it just goes to show the power of a story.
Yeah. That she's this little old lady who takes care of the sick and infirm and blah,
This
blah, blah.
super kind Albanian woman who went and started this whole series of care places in India where they desperately needed care.
Right.
And then the fact that she basically tortured people.
Right.
And did not give them the care because she thought that their pain brought them closer to God. Well, we'll just forget that part.
Right. Well, the Missionaries of Charity, that's what they're called. That's her order. They've continued her work. Let's put it that way.
Oh, goodness.
And they've maybe even expanded on it a little bit.
Opened new channels.
New channels. This is a new kind of growth area for them. Child trafficking.
Sure. Absolutely. They've got access to so many children. It's just a no-brainer.
They're in trouble right now. The Indian authorities are cracking down. They know of 4 recent children that were sold to instead of adopted out to families. They let's see, 4 infants, including a 6-month-old boy who went for the equivalent of $730.
Wow. That's a lot cheaper than adoption. I hear well, I don't know.
These are to other Indian families.
To other Indian. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then it's probably not cheaper.
There was also,
but the red tape. You avoid so much red tape.
There was a couple that paid almost $1,800. Who was for whatever reason the sisters took the child back without returning the money. And
now that's a scam.
I don't know how you'd pull that off.
Oh my God,
you train the kid to crawl away.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Oh my God,
it's a homing baby, right? You get him to come back.
Hey, can we just see that baby one time real quick? I think we left something in its pocket.
Swipe.
Yoink. My baby.
That was the couple that tipped off the police.
Yeah,
They were pissed.
Wow.
They lost a good chunk of money, and now the police are on it.
We paid good rupees for that baby.
Yeah.
You can't just take it back.
So they
is that called Indian giving? I'm sorry.
Different Indians, different giving. But sure, why not?
Oh my God. Can someone tell me what kind of a world it is we live in when you can't sell a baby? In a third world country, I can't sell a baby now?
Well,
I'm a nun. Why can't I sell a baby?
So the Missionaries of Charity actually discontinued adoptions. They used to do adoptions.
Sure.
But the laws changed in India in 2015. And all organizations that facilitated adoptions are now required to register with the Central Adoption Resource Authority.
What? There's oversight now?
There's oversight.
Such a pain in the ass.
This came after India passed their Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act. That was the law went into effect 2 years ago. But of course, this new law sort of guaranteed certain rights about adoption.
Yeah.
Kind of cleaned up the whole adoption industry, got rid of this kind of stuff of
I mean, it sounds like they were probably doing some shady shit before the adoption.
Yeah, they probably
rules.
were.
They were probably selling babies before. They
if-
just called it adoption.
If nothing else, they disagreed with the government rules that made it easier for single, divorced, and separated people to adopt,
right.
which once you register, you're required to comply.
Right.
And so now they are in trouble. And rightly so.
Oh my God.
Let's see, where was that part that I wanted to bring up? I guess that's probably about it. Yeah, they take in pregnant women into the order takes
Yeah.
care of them, and then they help them,
Sell their baby.
sell their baby. They're really just the middleman.
It's
Right.
a profit scheme. I mean,
Yeah.
don't have an abortion. Just
No, sell it.
sell it.
Somebody will pay.
Just it's a bumper crop in India.
It's really. I sat there and really was appalled thinking about the idea of selling and buying babies. It's really disgusting.
Yeah, it's not okay.
It's
I think we can take a firm stand.
no, I know, but I had never really considered it.
Yeah.
Really, really, really thought about how gross it is. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
They clearly Mother Teresa taught these ladies some good values.
Well, I
Right.
mean, if there's one thing we can be certain of, it's that religious charities are always good.
Always.
Always.
Always good.
All right. I'm going to move on to Provo, Utah, your former home.
I lived there for a couple years.
And the place that you lived was the Brigham Young University.
I actually lived on campus for a spell.
Yeah.
that's
so Brigham Young University, owned by the LDS Church, the Mormons.
Yeah.
And one of the largest universities in the state.
Yes.
Very important university in this state. And sometimes a secretive university in this state.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, if it involves Mormons, they like their secrets.
Sure. Oh,
I'm sorry. They like their sacreds.
right. It's not secret. It's sacred. Well, here's the thing. As you know, BYU has their own little police force, little campus police. And they have basically all of the same rights as any police officer. They are able to arrest. They have. They are able to basically do anything a police officer can do.
Right.
They can use force and all this stuff.
They have access to the state databases that they would need.
Right.
Blah,
They
blah,
they
blah.
are police.
They are legitimately police. Full on.
However,
Certified by the state. Police.
they've been able to avoid giving out their documents
Right.
because they are under the umbrella of the church and their own. They're basically run by BYU.
Yeah.
They're Mormon police.
They're Mormon. They're religious police.
They are religious police. And so when things have happened recently, like, women have been raped and whatever, and then BYU's handled it very badly and told these women that they were in violation of the honor code of BYU.
Which clearly they must have been.
Right.
How did you get yourself raped?
Right. Exactly.
If you were
BYU's
following all of our rules.
If you don't know about BYU's honor code, this is the set of rules that this is the premise that you sign as a BYU student, that you will abide by all of these very strict rules about, like, no fucking, don't go into another person's, you don't get to go, you have to be in BYU approved housing.
Very correct. Yeah.
Which means in your house, in your apartment, even off campus, you can't have someone of the opposite gender in your apartment after 10.
Right.
Or something
And
like
they
that.
can never go into the bedroom area.
Right.
There's sort of always a dividing door or a stairwell or something that delineates, this far and no further.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
But also let's make sure that it also extends to alcohol,
Right.
and coffee,
Yeah, none of that.
iced tea,
Never.
fully prohibited.
Never.
Any sort of tobacco, of course.
No.
all
You
off the
you
list.
may have soda, and as much of it as you can pound down your gullet,
Including caffeinated soda.
including caffeinated soda, and also, but that's kind of new. The caffeinated soda thing is kind of like
Right.
new. But like, and have as much anyway. As
We
much
went down that
sugar
rabbit
as you
hole.
can
Yeah,
get. However, when the campus police have investigated some of these things, they have not been forthcoming about, to the local press or to anybody about their files on this stuff.
Right. Well, and because also as a actual like police department, they're not supposed to be enforcing sort of things that aren't laws, right? And so
Right.
they've actually claimed that they are not involved in any honor code enforcement.
Right.
And the Tribune has been bugging them for years. They've had these GRAMA requests, right? The Government Records.
Government Records Access and Management Act.
Right.
Which is a Utah act.
Right.
That is like, that basically says,
It's the Freedom of Information Act, but for Utah.
but for the state. Yeah.
Right. And so, but the Tribune has been bugging them and has all these requests in because they have other sources that are telling them that they have indeed been involved in Honor Code Office investigations.
Right. Because of course they have.
Right. So they literally are acting in sort of that same capacity as the Saudi religious police.
Oh my God, they're the SS.
Yeah. They are the religious police,
Yeah.
the same as you would find in Tehran or Riyadh or anywhere in this world.
The Vatican.
The Vatican. Yeah, sure. Anywhere that's under religious theocratic rule.
Right.
And has a police force that goes around enforcing their stupid standards and rules.
They're religious standards.
They're
yeah.
religious standards.
More than just the state laws, they're enforcing the religious standards. And that's
Correct.
the problem. And a ruling has now come out. A judge has now ruled that, yes, the BYU police, campus police, are subject to GRAMA.
GRAMA, yeah.
So there you go.
But they're appealing.
Well, of course they're appealing.
Yeah.
But we may learn some very interesting things in the
If
near
that comes
future.
out, boy, I bet they've got some massive shredding machines going on right now.
Right?
How much trouble would they be in then?
Well,
Oh, boy.
only if they're caught.
Yeah. All right. Dan.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I use his product frequently.
He founded that old Facebook thing,
Yes, indeedy.
thefacebook.com, right?
The Facebook.
The
Right.
Facebook. He's getting a little bit. He's found himself into some hot water. Let's say that.
Sure.
After sitting down for an interview with Recode, it's a blog.
Sure.
that reports on sort of tech industry stuff.
Yep.
And was being asked about how Facebook is trying to clean up, the content. Because this was a big deal this last election. The Russians were able to
They're just flooding.
put in a lot of disinformation
Yeah.
that people were sharing.
Lots of memes of things that weren't true. Lots of
Right.
lies. Just lies being propagated throughout, especially the right wing.
Right. And so there was that going on, but then there's also just a general problem that they have with conspiracy theory content.
Yeah.
That's just bad shit.
Yeah.
They have a problem with white supremacy and racist and homophobic content spreading around.
That's true. Facebook is probably single-handedly responsible for things like the flat Earth thing taking off.
Yeah.
And now
This is how Facebook is generally now how bad information spreads.
yeah.
Right. Well, anyway, so this has been something that they are, of course, supposedly concerned about.
Right.
But anyway,
Keep talking about addressing it.
Yeah, during this interview, he was asked specifically about some of the Sandy Hook conspiracies theories that the massacre actually didn't happen. Well, Zuckerberg offers up, basically like, well, we're not doing that, and we don't even, get the Holocaust denial stuff off there either. Right? So you think we're not doing that? Guess what else we aren't doing?
Wow.
Right?
What a beautifully politic way of answering that.
Yeah. He says, I'm Jewish, and there's a set of people who deny the Holocaust happened. I find that deeply offensive, but at the end of the day, I don't believe that our platform should take that down because I think there are things that different people get wrong. I don't think they're intentionally getting it wrong, I think. The interviewer jumps in and goes, in the case of the Holocaust, they might be, but go ahead.
Yeah.
And he continues, it's hard to impugn intent and to understand the intent. I just think, as abhorrent as some of those examples are, I think the reality is also that I get things wrong when I speak publicly. I'm sure you do. I'm sure a lot of readers and public figures we respect do too. And I just don't think that it is the right thing to say we're going to take someone off the platform if they get some things wrong, even multiple times. So he's basically equating Facebook to having a conversation almost, right?
Right.
And that it's not all written down, and that it's not all shareable to people that you don't even know, and that that the weight of sort of a media platform gives information significance.
I get here's the thing. I get where he's coming from in the sense that is his job to police everybody's, there's a free speech question here.
There is.
And it's hard to parse that out.
However, I will say this, the government is not offering that site up as a service.
No.
A private company is.
Yeah.
And a private company can set its own values about what kind of speech it allows and what kind of speech it does not allow.
Yeah.
On its own platform.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it is interesting. He's trying to make it this bigger issue about allowing things to be said. He says that the algorithm is being redesigned so that it actually limits how this kind of information spreads.
Right.
That it doesn't follow sort of the same information flow that the rest of the non-toxic stuff does. Right. If it's just pictures about you and your vacation, or whatever, that's going to flow much more than if you're posting swastikas or whatever,
some sort of Breitbart article or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Sharing stuff that has been identified as being somewhat toxic. But I would say at the end of the day, it seems to me that it's almost the path of least resistance for Facebook.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing for them to do is to just say, well, people say shit, meh, and we're not going to get into those conversations and say they can't say it.
Right.
And it's no, there are things that I think reasonable people can all agree on. The Holocaust happened.
Right. And
we know it happened.
And there's real world consequences
fact.
if we don't address this.
Right. And so for people to go around with Holocaust denial, there is a specific intent behind it.
Yeah.
It's not just, no, I don't have any ill will toward the Jews.
Yeah, you believe one thing, I believe another thing. Let's just agree to disagree.
Right.
It's not that.
No.
It's
these people are coming for you, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
They hate you, and they're using your platform to do it.
Right. And they're fomenting hate in others. They're building hate. They're trying.
Yeah.
They're purposefully building hatred.
Yeah.
In order to make things worse.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? If you're ready, I can use that as a lovely launching point for my next story.
I've covered everything that I need to cover. For sure.
Because I'm taking us now to Miami, where a man was arrested recently for trying to burn down a condo building from which he had recently been evicted. Now, he had been evicted because he was a bad neighbor and hated all of his neighbors because they are Jews.
Oh, boy.
So he was arrested for he was literally stockpiling gasoline to burn burn down the building, quote, with all of the fucking Jews.
Holy shit.
Yep. This is a 72-year-old man
What?
who was
Has learned nothing in his life.
Yeah, Walter Stolper.
Good Lord.
Who, in his 72 years, has learned a lot. Clearly, one of the things that he's learned is that those damn Jews are ruining everything, I guess. When his apartment was raided, they found all sorts of Nazi books, artifacts, swastikas, that sort of thing.
God. And he lives in Florida?
Yeah. I mean, come on. That's it.
You're setting yourself up for a miserable experience.
Right, exactly. Move here. We've got like 7 Jews. Move to Idaho. There's
even fewer.
There's no Jews there. Wyoming? You'll be fine. No, and then when the police questioned him about his stockpile of gasoline, which he had been throwing down the garbage chute, he said he was using it to, quote, make a small barbecue. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing he didn't use the word furnace in that thing. Anyway,
barbecue.
Yeah. The anti-Semitism is alive and well, kids. And also, I mean, not for nothing. This is not a story that I'm covering right now, but there was a recent. I don't know if you saw the recent study that showed that Trump's tweets have increased, have demonstrably increased hatred of Muslims in this country as well.
Good Lord.
So I'm just going to say, hey, don't hate anybody for their religion. How about that?
Yeah.
Even though we hate religion, usually as a group of people, don't hate anybody for it. Those are people. People are different.
Yeah.
Concepts are a thing.
As a way of just demonstrating that we do not plan this show, Dan. I'm going to go on to a story about Jews behaving badly.
Okay, yay! I like it.
Ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Oh, those scamps, those scoundrels.
Yeah,
they can be trouble.
This is ultra-Orthodox Jews in the neighborhood.
The From community. Have I told you that? I learned that word. From. And
really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Where are they from? All right. These are ultra-Orthodox men in the Jerusalem suburb of Beit Shemesh.
Okay.
And they they have been chasing former members of their community who dare walk through their community, or who might still even live there, but who don't sort of practice and dress in the ultra-Orthodox manner.
Right.
They are being harassed. They're having rocks thrown at them.
Oh my God!
They're being chased through the neighborhood by roving bands of young men with dogs.
Right.
Who are scaring children. Someone was caught on video, and that's what this story was based on. The video shows a girl in shorts and a T-shirt running down the street as a large group of screaming ultra-Orthodox men chase her.
Not a good look, fellas. That's it's not the best look.
Right. A neighboring resident says that every time she passes through to go to work, the children throw stones at her.
Good Lord.
Because she's not dressed modestly. whatever that means.
It means
She's got her porn shoulders out.
she doesn't have her hair covered by other hair.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably all it means. Let's see. A young girl was pepper sprayed because she was walking through the neighborhood.
These people, I will say this, like, it's not a comment on religion, but the communities of, anytime you get fundamentalist communities of religious people, boy, they are not going to act right.
No.
They are going to be horrific humans. They're going to be awful people.
Yeah.
The more fundamentalist they are, the worse they get.
Yeah.
So, if you see somebody in a funny hat, slap them. That's not true. Don't do that.
No, I mean, you see it.
Also,
you're
their
absolutely
hats,
right
their
that
hats get weirder and weirder.
that it's anywhere and everywhere, and it also happens in not quite so obvious ways. You know, it's not necessarily always rock throwing or pepper spraying or releasing the dogs. Sometimes it's just the ostracization that takes place in Salt Lake City suburbs.
Yeah.
When you're not when you're the non-Mormon family on the block.
Yeah. And
It's more the looks and the lack of casserole being delivered.
and kids not being allowed to play with your kids and all that sort of stuff.
That stuff's just ugly.
It's so ugly. Anytime and the more fundamentalist you get, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
So none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take us to the Episcopal Convention. This happened in Austin, Texas. They had their triennial convention. I love that in the article I was reading about it, it had the word triennial and bicameral both in a sentence. Because the House of Bishops and the House of Deputies meet at this thing. This is the governing body of the United States Episcopal.
We'll wait until the sesquicentennial comes along,
right?
And
then we'll have a party. So basically, they have now approved. Here's the thing: the Episcopals have been in a dither for the last long while about the gays. They have just not been able to figure out what to do because half of them want to bless gay unions and be totally cool with gays, or probably more than half. And then there's this bunch of conservatives that just cannot deal.
Yeah, we cause problems for religious people.
You gay folk are ruining it. You're ruining it for everybody.
They have a hard time.
Even
the Episcopals.
Yeah. So currently 8 of the United States 101 Episcopal dioceses are not okay with gay marriage.
How many?
8
out of the
101.
Wow. Those are actually decent numbers.
That's good odds. That's good numbers.
Episcopalians, though, you are disappointing me. I thought we were 100% on this issue.
No.
Clearly we're not.
And they've been facing schism ever since.
Well, I know with the global church they've had problems.
Right. And the American church has been facing this, has been like desperately trying to hold on to these very conservative dioceses.
Right.
And, if there's one thing that can be said for the Anglican communion, it is that they're very uncomfortable with tension. They just can't. They want to reach out to everybody. Everybody, no. We're just going to be nice to each other. So when somebody's mad, it feels they just really struggle. Yeah. So they weren't willing to lose these guys. One of the things under discussion at this thing was putting, and it's been under discussion, putting a non-gendered version of the marriage rights into the Common Book of Prayer.
Okay.
They have not gone that far.
Oh.
However, what they have done is what they're calling a pastoral solution to this issue, which is that any local Episcopal church can offer a gay wedding in their church. But if your bishop is not down with it, you can reach out to a bishop from one of the other dioceses to like give it the stamp of approval before you do it.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
So you can sidestep your bishop, I
Some,
guess. So it's like this is the stupidest baby stepping I've ever seen. It's all hey, Mormonism is always at least 20 years behind the times. Mm-hmm. These guys are working really hard to only be 5 or 10.
Yeah.
So go them, I guess.
But they're mostly all along.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
at the diocese level,
the vast
they're
majority.
doing a really good job of at least being good with the gays.
Yeah.
At least that.
And
what else.
they're okay with the trans, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so good on them.
Yeah.
They're like, they're the nice guys.
Right.
It's still bullshit, but nicer.
Well, good for them.
So there you go. Hey,
For them.
if you used to be Episcopalian, which you weren't, let's face it, none of our listeners were, write to us about your experience, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Indeed. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we will let you in. There's also the TGI Atheist subreddit, which you should check out if you're over there on the Reddit.
Thriving subreddit.
Yeah, we've had a bit of activity, and we're collecting up subscribers. It's awesome. So,
All right.
you should join us. Join us over there.
Join the Borg. Anyway.
You don't really join the Borg.
You will be assimilated!
Hey, Dan.
Yes, sir. We're already laughing. We don't.
Yeah, this we have a clip of audio this week. Dave Dobenmeyer,
Coach Dave.
He's been popping up a little bit more recently. He is little more than a rabid conspiracy theorist, shrouded in Christianity.
Yeah.
That's all the man does, really.
And the amazing thing is how self-aware he is of that fact. And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
You'll hear it a little bit, but we'll explain more after the thing. But,
well, I think we can paint a picture. Through much of this, he is literally wearing a tinfoil hat.
But just
aluminum foil hat.
Just understand, here's what he does. He's wearing a baseball-style cap with a cross on it when this clip starts. And then another guy talks, it cuts away, it cuts back to him. He's now wearing a tinfoil, like a baseball cap covered in tinfoil with the cross still cut out on the front on top of his other hat.
Yeah.
Because he knows that he's a conspiracy nut.
Right.
And he's proud of it?
But I think he's trying to make fun of the people who would call him a conspiracy theorist. Because conspiracy theorists, they think they're speaking truth.
Right.
And so here's his truth about abortion.
And he's got it. I think he's got us on this one. I think this might be true. You guys decide for yourself.
Why are they so upset about abortion? Why does that matter so much? The left. If you watch the show regularly, I hope you remember that the left is not the liberals. It's not the Democrats. The left is the Christ-hating left, the Christless left. Why are they so interested about death? Why do they want so much? The most important right that they're ever going to have is the right for a woman to be able to murder her unborn baby.
That's the basis of their power, brother. That's the basis of their power, and we're choking it off, and that's why they're going insane.
Explain that, Vinny. What do you mean that's the basis of their power?
Okay, so this is going to get a little disturbing. Yeah, these people are Satanists. What they do is they sacrifice children, and they use the children's blood for their drug adrenochrome.
In an abortion, when they torture little children, it doesn't matter who it is. You've all had it. When something scary or something threatening hits you, you get this rush of adrenaline. And the purpose of the rush of adrenaline is probably a self-preservation thing to make you ready to do whatever it is you have to do, that adrenaline rush. And after you've had it and you sat down and, whoo, you feel that over you. But here's what they theorize goes on. Not only in abortion, but in any type of sacrifice, especially child sacrifice. That imagine a little baby in the womb and a poker starts coming in grabbing his leg. There could be an adrenaline rush inside that little baby. Or you imagine a little child, a little 3-year-old or 4-year-old or 5-year-old or 10, I don't care how old it is, child that's kidnapped and trafficked and tortured and brought almost to the point of death. And when they're brought to the point of death, then they're killed. And then there's adrenaline produced inside the blood. Now, wait a minute. I know this is ultimate tinfoil hat. I know this is. But can somebody explain to me why the left wants to kill babies?
Oh, he's got us there.
Well,
That's the question, just the question, lingering in the air, Dan.
why
do we want to kill babies?
Oh, it's fun. It's delightful. It's amazing to me. Literally, the best theory that they've got to answer that question
Is that we do it for the adrenaline.
is that we're somehow harvesting the blood of the babies
Yeah.
and synthesizing adrenochrome, which, my understanding, limited though it is that adrenochrome is just adrenaline that has been oxidized, that has been processed.
Right.
So that's probably not even a drug anymore. Like, it's already been processed, right? It's already, but who cares? I don't know anything about adrenaline.
I don't think that that's where we debunk this.
No. My point is, like, fucking...
First of all, there's no debunking required because it is just...
Because it's just nonsense rambling.
It's just ridiculous. It's one of the most absurd, horrifying... Like, the fact that these people dream this up.
Yeah.
They don't believe it. No. They can't believe it, Dan.
No, they don't believe it.
They are hoping that they have a listener who does.
Some old lady is listening to that going, oh, no. Oh, I've heard that drugs are bad, and I've heard that abortion is bad, and now they're using the abortion to make the drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking get an EpiPen if you want adrenaline. Jesus, like, what? You don't need sacrificed baby blood.
Right.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it's you got the. It's funny though that he talks about the Christless left.
Yeah, not the Democrats. Oh, I'm making
not even the liberals.
I'm making a huge distinction here.
This is the Christless left.
I mean, let's face it. All of the liberals and Democrats are Christless left.
Right.
But that's not. But I'm not talking about liberals and Democrats.
Right.
Just talking about all those people who want abortion to be legal. You know.
We need, right now, what we need more than anything, Dan, I hate to say it, a bunch of Republican atheists.
Yeah.
We need really people who agree with the Republican Party on
financial stuff.
And it's getting harder to find things to agree with them on. I was about to say like foreign policy, but they're done on that issue.
Oh my God. That's the thing, is that the Republican Party as a party has sort of abandoned all of their actual values that they used to have. Like, now they're just the party of, like, not Satan.
Let's just say traditional Republicans.
Right.
We need a bunch of atheists over there.
Yeah.
Because, we seem to be mostly congregated over on the left.
But we need. Where else are you going to go?
We need some over there who they need in their little alliance to get people elected.
The problem is that the Republican Party has become the party of Christ. Yeah. It is the Jesus Christ party. Yeah. And why would an atheist go to that?
People do, though, Dan. There are still atheists who are in the Republican Party.
Yeah, it's just they need. What we need is an actual conservative party in this country that hasn't
sold its soul,
completely hitched its wagon to religion.
Right.
because those people are not listening.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Anywho, we had
Moving
some
right along.
folks write into us. Let me just pull this up here. This one is from Lynn in Albany. Lynn writes in, Dear Frank and Dan, I like listening to your podcast very much. Thank you so much. About the issue of harassing the Republican politicians. Now, you and I talked about this a little bit, and we came out kind of against harassment. Lynn says, I have been involved in politics for a very long time. I'm just a regular voter and can't make huge campaign contributions, so it is difficult for me to speak directly to politicians. That's true. This is why whenever I see a politician in public, my congressman, state representative, mayor, etc., I always make sure I speak with them regarding an issue that concerns me. This is not harassment, not even close. I may ask difficult questions, but I'm very civil. At a neighborhood meeting that my congressman attended, I asked him why we could not request that the federal government not build the next bomb in our name, but instead send all the money that they would have paid for the bomb to our city, which could really use it. I mean, really, she says, the woman who spoke to Scott Pruitt, the corrupt EPA administrator, not anymore, in a restaurant, was holding her baby at the time. I do not think she was harassing him, just speaking to him because he was in public. I think people should do what Maxine Waters has encouraged them to do. People need to stand up and speak their minds gently and civilly to the people they elected to office.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's less what I was talking about because I have seen video of people like chasing Mitch McConnell down the street screaming at him.
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that we need to avoid. We need to a call to gently and civilly engage politicians in public. I'm much more on board with.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Steven writes in and says, Hey, Frank and Dan, I hope we can make I hope I can make this cohesive. I wanted to share a life experience I had that was tangentially related to the show. A couple months ago, my family saw that I was subscribed to the show and decided to have a talk with me about it.
Oh, no. No.
They already knew I was an atheist, but they thought I was being too open about my atheism and told me I should be more guarded or in the closet about my atheism. I told them my arguments against being religious or hiding my atheism and why we didn't come to any real agreements, but it was a beneficial moment for me to actually discuss these things with my family as opposed to just letting there be tension. One of the most frustrating aspects was telling them I had real-world concerns, such as overpopulation and education, that get overlooked because society does not tend to focus on the big picture issues. Instead, it gets wrapped up in things very much like religion. They roughly told me that I worry too much about such issues. About a week after the podcast about Arizona schools opting to take the word evolution out of schools aired, I was extremely thankful for you guys for informing me, as I live in Arizona and nobody bothered telling me. I wrote the schools that day and got as many other people as I could to write the schools as well. I work in the zoology field, and so evolution education is one of my hot button issues. The world won't change if we stand idly by, and I'm extremely grateful to have people such as yourselves making positive change, so much that I finally broke down and became a Patreon supporter. Woo! Hooray! There you go. So thanks, Stephen. Man. We have heard a few stories about people catching somebody with our logo on their phone or whatever, and it'll spark a conversation.
Oh, it has a way of doing that.
But yes, be out of the closet. Be open and proud about your atheism. It's important.
Absolutely,
it's important to
visibility is key.
You don't have to be anti-theist. You don't have to be a dick, but being open and honest about your beliefs with people that you meet,
right,
makes a world of difference.
Right. You don't know. So, like, not only does it feel good,
it does
to be out and to be honest and living openly and authentically.
I don't know why that's in air quotes, but sure.
It's
good to be authentic.
Authentically. Not only is that good for you, right? But being out as an atheist is not necessarily about, getting your family to come along, right? They may never come along, but somebody else somewhere in your life is going to who's having a tough time figuring out how they want to live, may be able to take an example from you. And feel a little bit braver about it, and feel like that they know who they could go talk to.
Right.
Should they have any questions about how you dealt with telling your family or
and not only
leaving
that,
church or whatever it is that
but if
you might be dealing with.
If you've got a coworker or somebody that listens to Dave Dobenmeyer all the time and believes that atheist equals evil, having an out atheist at their work that they can just see is just a normal person who goes about their daily lives and doesn't have any satanic rituals.
Doesn't seem to be a blood mustache on their upper lip.
Right, exactly. You never see them going into the bathroom to shoot up their baby blood drugs. It helps. It helps to have visibility.
Yeah.
And it's important to be visible. We're taking our cues from the great success of the gay pride movement, which basically the whole game was just visibility.
Yeah.
You just get as many gay people as visible as possible. A few of them are going to get harassed and going to get some trouble, and that's unfortunate. But the visibility is so vitally important, because eventually everybody has a nephew, a niece, an uncle, a somebody that they love who, oh shit, that person doesn't even believe in God, and yet they were a good person.
Right.
That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed, Dan.
We got one more. AC wrote into us. Hey guys, I just listened to a recent episode, Gays in the Parade, and was pleasantly surprised by an email you shared from a listener regarding Mormon missionaries. I was surprised because I recently had a similar experience. About a year ago, I moved to Western North Carolina and started listening to your show. Prior to the move, I'd been visited by Baptists and even a Jehovah's Witness or two, but never a Mormon. Honestly, until I discovered your show, I wasn't even aware the Mormon missionaries were a thing.
What a blessed life.
Charmed life you've lived. Cut to a few days ago. My boyfriend and I were driving home, and we're inevitably stopped by a traffic light. Glancing around at the busy intersection, I was shocked to see two young men pushing their bikes through the grass as to avoid the highway traffic. How dangerous, I thought. Then as I looked closer, I saw the white shirts. I saw the awful ties. I saw the outlines of what had to be name tags, and I saw bags loaded down and strapped to each man's back. I realized in that moment, those are Mormons! In excitement, I screamed out, Mormons! Those are Mormon missionaries! While pointing and laughing uncontrollably. No! Understandably, my boyfriend thought I had lost my mind, but oh well, it was the highlight of my day. Thank you for preparing me to truly appreciate it.
I love it.
You saw some in the wild, no less.
Yeah,
they're out there. Mm-hmm. If you just stop for a minute, sometimes you can see them out in their in the habitat.
Yeah, unfortunately, I see them too often.
Well, yeah, here.
Yeah,
it's a trick not to see a Mormon missionary.
Yeah,
but they're they're just teenagers out there trying to preach. I was stopped by some teenagers in the park just last night.
What park?
Liberty Park. I was at Liberty Park, downtown Salt Lake City, and there was a swarm, a literal swarm of blue T-shirted people. And they stopped me. I had my headphones on and everything. They stopped me and said, "Hey, can we ask you a few questions?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." Their T-shirts did not say church, church, church. They said, what did they say? Something camp. Grow camp or something like that.
Okay.
And it turns out what they grow is churches.
Oh.
Literally, that's what they told me.
These were Christian missionaries.
Yes, not Mormon missionaries. Sorry, I should have been more clear.
I was like, they're letting them out into public in different attire.
No, these were much more annoying than that. Anyway, yeah, stopping me in the park, these Christians. God damn it.
Rude. That's what the Mormons do elsewhere.
And you know what it was? They were lying. They were there to lie to me. They were like, "Can we ask you some?" And they made it out to be like a survey.
Oh, yeah,
and they
we used to do that.
Asked me a bunch of survey questions, and I noted it was a group of 3 that stopped me. And one of them was sort of writing, but could not have been writing what I was saying. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, you're not really asking me these questions. You're just trying to prime me for church stuff.
Yeah, we used to do that.
Really?
It was actually a tactic.
It's a fucking lie. It's bearing false witness is what it is.
It's doing a survey. Hi, would you like to do a survey?
Oh, my God. It's such bullshit.
Just a way to start a conversation, Dan.
It's
That's all it is.
It's a way to, yeah.
Of course, it's a lie. The whole thing's a lie, Dan.
Well, I'm just saying they're sneaky little bastards is what they are.
Yeah, it's clever, isn't it?
Yeah.
It works. That's why you do it, Dan.
Oh, God.
People are like, whoa, what's wrong with a survey?
Oh, sure.
love a
You
survey.
want to know my opinion about things. They don't want to know your opinion about anything.
The other good one would be, would you like to sign a petition?
Oh, no, everybody runs away from those.
No, you tell them, we'd like to make God number 1.
I think a petition's the way to do it.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Sign here. It has no legal bearing whatsoever. But
doesn't.
God's number 1.
It won't mean anything. Hey, do you think God's number 1? Sign this.
All right, well, we have some people to thank, Dan, on Patreon.
Yeah, okay, great.
We have George, who is now a venerable
Ooh,
listener.
bless
And
you.
Todd, who is now a beatified listener. So thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. These are, just to remind everyone, these are people who believe in our show, who have been touched by the spirit of TGIA and just want to help you and I keep going.
Yeah.
And they go to thankgodimatheist.com. They click the support button.
Yeah.
And go to Patreon and kick it.
Yeah, your support
kick
helps
in a
make
few
the
bucks.
show possible, you know.
And literally,
It's-
you choose the level that you want to support at. It's a per episode donation. And it just helps keep us running. Do we have one more person to thank?
We always do, Dan. Our Lord and Savior, our top donor, the Archangela herself. Angela!
Oh, blessed be she, and forever may she wave. In the name of the mother and the daughter and the nieces and aunts. Amen.
Amen. Dan,
Yeah.
do you want to be rich?
Here's the thing. I do. I'm not going. It's not going to happen. Podcasting, that's for sure. But I do. I would love to be rich. That would be delightful. I don't think it's going to happen through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Well,
It might.
it could. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is, a lot of people have gotten rich off of Jesus.
Well, that's the Lord's own truth right
Yeah.
there.
But it's not because Jesus made them rich,
No.
as in an active mind and
Magic powers.
powers.
Yeah.
Right. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
Here you go, Jim Baker. Be rich.
Be rich.
No, Jim Baker was like, I can sell buckets of food.
Well, he was rich before that just by calling on the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
He didn't have to sell food before. Now he's got this food racket, but you know, before he was like Osteen style, which you get your Osteens of the world, you get your prosperity gospel preachers,
Right.
and all they have to say is, Jesus will make you rich, and the way that he does that is by you giving me money, and don't think too hard about that, just
Right.
do it.
Right.
And then they get rich.
Well, they equate richness and riches with blessings, right?
Right.
The Lord gives you blessings for your righteousness. Well, what else is he going to give you but, gold and money and airplanes?
It's so funny. The thing that got me thinking about this for this week was a story that I read about a Vatican-approved journal that was calling out prosperity gospel. Like the Catholics calling out prosperity gospel as being the worst thing and calling it dangerous and saying that it has perverse effects on the poor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a quote, it not only exasperates individualism and knocks down the sense of solidarity, meaning with the poor, a sense of people's solidarity, but it pushes people to adopt a miracle-centered outlook because faith alone, not social or political commitment, can procure prosperity.
Right.
And here's the thing. The Catholics are right about the Protestants in this version.
Absolutely.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
These ideas are they're dangerous, and they're what's been fucking with this country for the last 30 years.
Well, it's a very interesting sort of chemistry that happens in the United States when you have a country that is just on its own. The citizens tend to all believe that they will someday be rich, right?
It's literally this idea of I'm going to get rich is called the American dream.
Right, exactly. Right. And so this is like hardwired into us.
Yeah.
You grew up in this country. This is just part of your psyche.
Yeah.
Right.
There's the Steinbeck quote, which John Steinbeck, the author, at one point said, the problem with America is that there are no poor people, just temporarily embarrassed millionaires.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And so you take that, and then you add on to it prosperity gospel.
Yeah.
And it turns into this nasty,
You just
ugly,
plug in Jesus to that already built mentality.
Yeah.
And whoo,
and
doggy.
it spreads, and it gets its little tentacles out, and we see a lot of the problems that we have with the religious right at this point.
Yeah. Well, what ends up happening, and this isn't what. So the way it's presented is this: you give to God, and God means me. I'm the preacher, and you give to my ministry, so that I can have.
So I can talk good about God.
Yeah,
'Cause that's what God likes.
Right.
Is me spreading His good word,
and then God will magnify your gift tenfold, and it will come. As long as you're good and you don't sin, and you're a kind person, and you do all the things that you're supposed to do, you'll get rich. And the more righteous you are, the more richest you are. And righteousness becomes associated then with wealth. And the proof is in the pudding, because I don't know if you've ever seen an aerial shot of Osteen's compound, of his mansion. But my God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And enormous. Yeah. He could house all of the people in it.
Yeah. And it worked for him.
And they've all got jets, these guys, and it's conspicuous wealth. And they do it on purpose.
It's essential that it's conspicuous.
Yeah.
Right? And so you kind of have to sit back and go like, well, what is this guy doing asking for a fourth jet?
Yeah.
Surely this has to backfire on him.
Right.
Right? It should have backfired with the second jet.
Yeah.
It didn't, but okay, well, maybe with the third, and now with the fourth, you're just like, he's onto something.
Yeah.
He understands how the minds of his followers and his donors work.
Right.
They love seeing him be prosperous.
Him having more
because
he is better.
Right. He is righteous.
Yeah.
He is chosen by God. And so my gifts to him must surely reflect good on me.
Right.
With the Lord.
Yeah.
Now, I will never be able to set up a racket like that.
No.
Where people
No, but
Make me rich.
But
Because I promised them things.
My lawn mowing business is about to take off any minute because of these gifts that I'm giving to Osteen or whatever. Like my plumbing business is about to go international any second now because I'm going to get rich because of Jesus.
Yeah.
And yes, that sets up false hope. It sets up this idea that somehow A, rich is better, and B, the way to get rich is miracles.
Yeah. Rather than hard work.
Rather than the things like, but also it says that I'm not good enough. And we've discussed this before. Being the way that religion really gets you is by telling you you're not good enough as you are. And I'm the only place to come for the salvation from your badness.
Right. And what better way to prove that you're not good enough than that you
Look at how
don't have a big fancy speedboat.
Look at how shitty your car is.
Yeah.
What is it? What is that?
You don't have everything you need. You got medical bills.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like there must be something wrong with you.
You're spiritually deficient.
Right. You are a normal human being.
Right.
You're a normal American with bills.
Who was born into poverty.
Right.
That's your fault.
Yeah.
God was punishing you
don't
because
have to be poor to fall prey to this thinking, though, Dan.
No.
You really don't.
It's true, but it
goes all the way up through the upper middle classes.
But it adversely affects the poor.
It does. Correct.
And here's the other thing, and this is what may be baffling. This baffles me. It baffles any onlooker. The American poor overwhelmingly vote against their own best interests.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. They vote for wealthy people who overtly say we're going to reduce the programs for the poor.
Right.
We're going to take away more of the social safety nets that are in place.
But that's what's going to help you.
But that's what's going to help you.
Yeah.
And you don't deserve it anyway.
Right.
You're bad. You know you're fucking bad.
And why are you expecting it from the government? Like,
right.
Go to your church.
Go to your church. And government doesn't do things well anyway.
Right.
So we're going to do this. And they continually vote against their own best interest. And why do they do it? Because poor people are clearly spiritually deficient. And the wealthy, a.k.a.
they're wealthy in all ways.
The orange bastard in the White House now. Yeah. Well, he's wealthy for a reason. Mm-hmm. It must be that God has blessed him. If he uses the word God, then we know that he is a good man. That
the Lord gave him those riches so that he could come around and get these people on the Supreme Court so we can get rid of abortion.
Right. And abortion's what matters because, good Lord, if we start to talk about the economy and how our poor, how our rich people are all getting richer and our poor people are getting fucked in this country.
Yeah.
Then they might wake up. So you distract them with more quote unquote moral issues.
Yeah.
Abortion, whatever.
Gay people.
Yeah. Right. Trans people. Yeah. Now, that's the big boogeyman now is trans people because everybody has that gay uncle, but there are fewer trans people that in people's families and whatever.
Yeah, and the visibility has only recently started.
So yeah, then boom, you got a great recipe to get people to vote for you against their own best interest. Again, like it's crazy to me. But yeah, you've got and it goes against their own goddamn book.
Yeah.
If you read the Bible, now Lord knows the Bible's convenient because you can always support whatever position you take with something from the Bible.
Right.
So if you want to take the position that the Lord blesses people with riches, you're going to find it.
That's there.
You're going to find that left and right. But also, if you read, for instance, that First Timothy thing that ends with the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking clear.
It is. Yeah.
That is undeniably clear. Mm-hmm. There's also, it's easier.
And we're seeing that play out right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have somebody running this country who's done nothing but love money.
Right.
And I will agree with this First Timothy thing, as you so put it. Yeah. Look at what it's wrought. What is being wrought by avarice?
Yeah.
At this point.
Although I will say I don't agree with this in that I'm not willing to say. I got into a tiff online this week with one of the, a millennial social justice warrior. I don't like using that phrase because it's used to sort of discredit people, but this, he's one of the liberalist liberals that has ever liberaled, and he will shred people who don't go all the way down the left road with him. And this guy was tearing into Elon Musk.
Okay.
And Elon is no saint.
No.
Let us be clear. He's donated to the Republicans now. We know that. And, he was a dick to the divers in Thailand that were helping the soccer players and stuff because they didn't want to use his little toy submarine to help get people out and whatever. Anyway, look, here's the thing. I don't believe in good versus evil in this stuff.
Right.
Because we're also talking about a guy who single-handedly might actually get solar to be the thing that powers our world instead of fossil fuels. He might end up reducing greenhouse gases and fossil, getting fossil fuels out of the way. Great. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah, he'll profit a ton from it.
Right.
But this isn't an either-or situation. This isn't a bad or good situation. It's people are people.
Yeah.
And humans tend to be both good and bad. All of us.
But if you're kind of a little bit more on the baddie side and you have resources.
Right. Then it's super easy to control the government. It's like these Wall Street bankers, after they tanked our entire economy in 2008, did they, and all of the politicians were giving a lot of lip service to, we got to make that never happen again. A little bit of regulation came out, and now they're talking about rolling it back anyway.
Yeah, so we can just go right down the same path again.
Right down the same path. So when people are protecting their money, bad things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say, you and I are not fans of any religion, really.
Right.
But prosperity gospel is like evil.
Yeah.
It is rich people.
It's cancerous. It's truly cancerous. Beyond the normal
manipulating poor people to make them richer.
It's the kind of cancer that cancer gets.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really shitty.
And it is a blight on our society, and it blinds people, and it confuses people, and it makes them vote badly. It hurts everything. And I don't care. Look, I'm not trying to forward a liberal agenda by saying that. What I'm trying to do is say people are not making their decisions based on the issues themselves. They're making their decisions based on Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's no way to vote for things. So go out there and I don't know. There's no call to action here. Just know that it's bad, I guess.
Hey, you know what the call to action is, Dan?
What is it?
Well, why can't we get some of that sweet, sweet prosperity gospel?
Send us the money. We can barely make our bills over here.
A little log here. All right. Anyway,
yeah. So there you go. It's the even the Vatican can see how evil the prosperity gospel is. They can't see their own evil, but boy, they can see that. If you have experience with this, listeners out there in the world, write into us. Tell us about your family who give all of your inheritance to Joel Osteen or one of his types. Write into us, podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yep. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist. Click that like button.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Request to join. It is a closed group, but that's what makes it Awesome.
Yeah, go also to the Reddit, the subreddit, which is r/TGIAtheist, and play around on that as well. Speaking of our online presence, thanks so much to Mackenzie for her hard work as TGIA's for the Facebook page, and thanks also to Sarah, Danny, and Amy for their work as moderators in the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music, and to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
Yeah, and thank you guys for tuning in. We sure appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.